Hello and welcome to another Z.E.D video. I apologize for the lack of videos recently. I've been sick, but I'm getting better enough to, and I'm well enough to do videos. So, this little lecture type video is on zombie survival versus zombie hunting. We here at the Z.E.D will never encourage zombie hunting, for what people mostly think of it and think it is, which is actually going into harm's way to hunt zombies in a zombie infested area. Zombie survival and zombie hunting do not go together. And we find when we hear a lot of people talking about zombie survival scenarios in which they have a plan and they start talking about their plan, a lot of people have zombie hunting tendencies overlaid on that plan, which makes their plan dangerous. And we're hopefully going to elaborate here for you. You don't want to end up like Scully here on the floor. You don't want to be just a pile of bones to be possibly discovered once humanity reclaims its place on the earth and deals with the zombie problem. You want to be one of those people reclaiming that ground. And in order to do that, you have to think with a survivalist mentality. And take a step out of the zombie survival idea right now and look at modern survival and survival in a modern setting, or survival due to a natural disaster or something, or an uprising. Zombie survival is similar to that. Look at surviving in the woodlands, in the desert, in the Arctic, whatever. Those themes can still be applied to zombie survival, and those themes, you aren't actually seeking harm to yourself or your group. You're not going to seek out the most dangerous way to do something. You're not going to seek out danger, because you can't, there's no hospital to go to. You can't just get patched up if you get hurt out there. And the same thing goes for zombie survival. In this case, the danger is very clear. Aside from the weather, which you always have to be mindful of if you live in a desert area, or you live in an area that's prone to tornadoes or violent thunderstorms or whatever, you still have to keep that in mind. The weather does not take a break because there's a zombie outbreak. But the chief danger, of course, is the zombie in the zombie survival scenario. And you're not going to actively seek that out. That runs counterproductive to survival. And whether or not you're by yourself or with a group, and chances are you're maybe with a group or stumble upon a group, you don't want to put that group in danger as well, because that group's not going to consist of people like you, around your same age, same capabilities. It's not. It may have a grandma in it, or a grandpa, some elderly person. You may have a disabled person. You may have extremely young, baby even, or a toddler. Some type of child, a pregnant woman. Just people, quite frankly, scared out of their minds, which they cannot be blamed for. In these situations, you wouldn't put them in harm's way. You have to think about it. Zombie hunting requires a group. I would never recommend a single solitary person going out to zombie hunt anyway, even training up people for that. But you get a group of capable people, and the groups I listed really wouldn't be that capable. You don't know what other people's capabilities are. One person may be a construction worker, somebody might have been a doctor. Who knows what you can end up with. I personally would never put a group in a situation like that unless there's no other way out for survival. If for some reason you have the worst case scenario possible, just surrounded by a ring of zombies, hundreds of them, and you have to fight your way out, then yes, you have to go for it. But if there's an easy route to take and a hard route to take, for survival you should take the easiest route. So zombie survival will never go hand in hand with zombie hunting. Think about it this way: in zombie survival, you want to go away from zombies. So you live in the city, you want to get out of the city, you want to get away from zombies, you want to be quiet. You don't want to attract attention to yourself, because it's not just zombies, it could be groups of people actually taking advantage of other people that you want to be careful of as well. You're going to want to keep your supplies as high as you can keep them. And you can't do that if you're going to actually run into an infested town and try and clear it. some people may be wondering about zombie clean and sweep teams. These, this notion, this idea of sweep teams and clean teams are not for what we classically think of as zombie survival. When we see zombie survival on the TV in terms of shows or movies or whatever, we see it at the climax, pretty much, you want to think about it that way, of a full-scale outbreak. Anarchy is pretty much in full swing or has already happened. So there's no government body or anything like that to try and help you. The zombie outbreak and the survival of the people in the show or movie is happening pretty much right at, I don't want to say the beginning stages, but right at the we're right at that full scale outbreak. It's not a minor outbreak in a town that can be easily contained. It's now fully grown into a national and possibly even multinational outbreak that's happening right now, so to speak. That's what we're looking at in those shows and movies, and that's what most people think of. In that moment where people are getting turned left and right, bitten, left and right, where society isn't as death row, so to speak, where the news media can still kind of cover the death knell of modern society. That's what we classically think of when we think of zombie survival scenarios. This is not the time for sweep teams. Sweep teams happen later, because what happens is, think of it as a graph, so to speak. You have the beginning stages of the outbreak, so you have the peak starting to form, the line on the graph starting to rise. Then it shoots up drastically in that climax period. It may plateau a little bit there, depending how long it takes for society to fully shut down. And then from there, it's going to slowly peter off on a slope. How gentle the slope is depends on the area and whatnot. But it's going to slowly peter off and go down. And it may plateau here and there, but it's slowly going to go down. And once it goes down enough, and there's no real scientific way to tell you when it would be enough, but that's when sweep and clean teams usually are formed and happen. When people feel strong enough, safe enough, confident enough to take back the world for humanity, pretty much. Pretty much when your group decides, you know what, we've grown a bit, you may have lost people along the way, we've grown a bit, we are hardened to this threat, we have enough supplies, we have a safe area, we can afford to go out and take back what was ours. So that's when clean and sweep teams happen, and that's when people's thoughts of zombie survival with that hunting mentality would be appropriate. But when we're thinking of the classic idea of zombie survival, that peak of the graph, if you will, where a full-fledged outbreak is fully underway and society is slowly sinking with radio channels and TV channels slowly going off the air, and being taken over by the emergency broadcasting system, just to have that peter off into nothing. That's when a full-fledged survival mentality is the only mentality you should have. Don't worry about being having the firepower of a military platoon or something like that. Worry about getting the roof over your head more secure, getting your food supplies, getting clothing supplies, medical supplies, laying low. And zombie hunting will not let you do that, which is why I did this lecture video, to kind of beat it into the heads of people that survival and hunting do not mix in terms of zombie survival versus zombie hunting. And I hear it every time people talk about it. At work, they talk about zombie survival. I hear about it in pop culture. You go on the internet, you see a bunch of things talking about it. You can talk about it amongst your friends. So yeah, people laugh at the idea, but then people have a lot of times real serious thought process on what they would do to survive it. So you might as well want to do it as correctly as possible, which involves survival only, no hunting. We can do videos more so on when the time be right to form clean and sweep teams, but we're only going to show you or demonstrate, I should say, would be a better word, zombie survival theories and techniques here for survival only, not for hunting, not for cleaning and sweep teams. Leave the hunting in those critical moments where you should be thinking about survival to the experts. Leave it to the military that's going to try and intervene. Leave it to the experts like the Z.E.D to deal with. That's what they're there for. All right, so that's enough lecturing here on that topic. Just wanted to really make it known that this is what zombie survival is: getting out of there, getting out of sight, staying away, getting a group together, getting your supplies, which you need to do, but keeping a low profile, trying to stay off the radar, not attracting attention to yourself. That's what it's all about. And if you look over your own zombie survival plans that you may have, and you notice it has a bit more brazen attitudes to it, or a bit more of a zombie hunting thought process to it, that's dangerous. I would suggest trying to weed those out and eliminate it as best as possible to better your chances of surviving. So that's it. Hopefully this was informative for some of you out there. Remember to be prepared. So be prepared, be safe, have a plan, and take care.